What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Real Fans FC. Today, we're going to be talking about the latest Concacaf transfers that's been happening over the past month and a half, somewhere around there. Obviously, we're not done yet. There's still about 3 weeks left until it officially closes and all the moves that have been made. But Will's got a little nice format for us. He's going to showcase that, and then we're going to go from there. Will, what do you got?
Yeah, Julian. First and foremost, I like that hat, man. Looking tough, little vintage Marlins
Thank
hat,
you.
throwback, baby. Hey, little throwback, little throwback. But yeah, dude, honestly, so like you said, we're gonna break down transfer moves right now happening in Concacaf. Like you said, it's been a busy transfer window. Some national teams have had better outcomes. Other teams, we'll kind of break it down a little bit in this video. Not exactly the best, but like you said, dude, format. I'm thinking if it's good with you, man, let's go ahead and roll. Is I'm gonna drop a name, drop what club they were playing at, where they're going, obviously national team, and then kind of we'll just roll from there. So that's good with you.
All right. All right. Let's hit
All
it.
right. All right. First and foremost, a little bit of let's mix it up, dude. Let's go up to our boys up north, man. The
Okay.
Canadians,
Let's go.
the Maple Leafs, dude. This is a big one, dude. This video was released and this was dropped by Olympic Marseille of Ismail Kone. I don't know if you saw it, dude. A lot of turmoil there. Kone is officially making a loan spell out to Sassuolo in the Serie A of Italy. So good for him. I think it's an interesting move. Like I kind of just said, dude, I think all due respect with Kone, the talent that he had to get out of Marseille. I just felt like not that it's not a toxic environment because obviously I have one of my own boys there and Murillo, but you could tell, dude. You could just really tell after. I mean, that whole video just kind of summed it up for Kone. So I don't know how you feel about it.
Um, I'm really interested to see how well he performs in the Serie A. It's a more technical league, and I wouldn't necessarily call him a technical player. I figured the French league would actually be a really good league for him. I think the problem was I don't know if he's necessarily Marseille level, like upper
Uh-huh.
French team level. I feel like he
Yeah.
needed to go to more of a mid-level team, and Serie A might work out for him. It might be beneficial for him to be in a more technical environment to work on and hone in on those skills and his footwork. But I'm a little interested. I think overall the idea was there. My only concern would be the league, but overall it's not a bad move. He's going to go to a place where he's going to get minutes and he can work on himself, and that's always a plus and a bonus in my mind.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. I definitely agree with that. Like you said, the World Cup year, it's a World Cup year, dude. It's very, very different. It's unique. Only happens every 4 years. So getting minutes is very key. Speaking about getting minutes, dude, Mateus Choinière, let's keep it up there. Making the move from Grasshoppers over to officially to LAFC. He didn't debut in this League's Cup. Obviously, another big LAFC signing in Human Son has kind of been stealing the spotlight for around the MLS world right now, rightfully so. But Mateus Choinière, big move for him. I think this is a little bit. It's not a lateral move necessarily, but it is an upward move. Obviously, coming back to Concacaf from Europe, but it wasn't the best spell for him over in Grasshoppers.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think this is a good move for him in general in his career. I believe he's going to be playing at a higher level. I think MLS is of a higher level than the Swiss league, especially if you're not going to be playing for the top Swiss league, top Swiss teams. Um, I think it's best for him to go to LAFC, a team that's going to be contender, a team that's going to be playing at the highest of levels in CONCACAF year in and year out, a team that it demands a certain level of performance from you. So, and not to say that Grasshoppers doesn't perform that, because to be fair, I don't really know much about their club and their supporter culture and all that stuff. But I do think going to LAFC is a little bit of jump in quality and the type of teams that you're going to face versus staying at a middling team in the Swiss league. Sometimes Europe isn't always the best move. Overall, look, he came from Montreal, which is a terrible team right now. They're not in a good situation. He went to Europe. He's played well for Canada when we've seen him. He's now coming over to LAFC. I think going from Montreal to LAFC is a jump, in my opinion.
Yeah, and let's go ahead and finish off with Canada, dude. Obviously, we got to go with the big name, the big bro, Big Joe David, dude, making the move. Finally official. This was a couple weeks back. Now to Juventus from Lille. I'll say real quick, Julian. I think this is an excellent move. I think this is a slam dunk, A plus, check mark, triple check mark, whatever you want to give it, dude. Incredible move for Joe David. I really listen. I'm a Joe David supporter. I'm a little bit of a fan favorite. I like him, dude. He's an incredible guy. I think he's done wonder works. I think he left Lille in the right way, the right fashion. No bad feelings,
Yeah.
dude. Fans felt good with it. But yeah, excellent move for Joe David and a great move for the Canadian men's national team. Another big player over there.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think this is a great stepping stone up forward from Lille. Obviously, Lille is here and there a Champions League team, but you're going to Juventus, who is consistently going to be, ideally, should be competing for Serie A titles and Scudettos and Champions League and all that stuff. I am a little worried, not so much about for him, but the situation that Juve is going through right now. It's not necessarily the best situation. They're kind of in this rebuilding phase. Hopefully, he can be a staple piece for that going forward. The biggest thing is hopefully he can get some creative players to get him the ball because that's been a big issue for Juventus. But look, man, I hope him the best. I think it is definitely a step forward. My only concern with it is just this Juve team as whole is just obviously not to the strengths of what they once were, even 5 years ago. So yeah, I think it's a good move though, nonetheless, and hopefully they can build around him.
Yeah. Let's also go to the so-called, so-claimed CONCACAF champions league guys. I got, no, excuse me, not league guys. The owners of CONCACAF right now, the United States men's national team, who like to carry around that title. A lot of times their fan base, but just last night, Julian, it broke. Timothy Weah has finally reached an agreement. I saw Fabrizio drop some information on it. He's already in Marseille right now. He had a little bit of a photo shoot, everything yesterday. Timothy Weah is going on a loan spell to Olympique Marseille. He'll be over there joining lots of big names, obviously, one of my own boys. So good. I think good for him to get out of Juve. You could kind of tell that situation was sticky. The whole Club World Cup thing with Timothy, it was kind of interesting. I think it's good for him, dude, because he's got other CONCACAF guys there, not only just Amir Murillo, but he's got Derek Cornelius, the center back from Canada. Obviously, Murillo. Kone was there for a little bit as well. But yeah, I just think this is good for him. And I think I don't want to say it's a lateral move. Obviously, I mean, I would say, you know what? Yeah, actually, yeah, I would say it is a lateral move. Obviously,
At the level
Marseille
that
is,
Juve's been playing at,
yeah,
it's probably left. But
that's what I
you're
was gonna
talking
say.
about the
Yeah,
top or the more upper echelon of Europe.
yeah, and he'll play Champions League. So, but good for him though. What are your thoughts?
I'm kind of in a wait and see. I'm not entirely sure. I mean, obviously the situation at Juve was he wasn't consistently starting, and I think
Yeah,
his goal is he wants to go somewhere where he's going to start. I'm not necessarily sure if Juve is going to be that place. I mean, obviously he has competition in that position, specifically one of your guys. I mean, he was playing wing back at Juve. Is he going to be a wing back at Marseille? Is he going to be a winger in Marseille? I'm not
yeah,
sure what's going to happen there. So he's kind of a wait and see. Obviously, it's good that he's still staying in that upper echelon of European football, but I'm just not entirely sold that this is going to be a great move until I actually see it play it on the field. Not going to say it's going to be a bad one. It's just kind of similar situation with Juve. I think he's going to have to earn that spot. I don't think it's going to be given to him.
yeah. No, totally agree, dude. Completely agree. It's gonna be interesting. All I got to say about that, real quick, Julian, he is not taking a Murillo spot. That is not gonna happen. That will not. We'll see. But let's go ahead and move it on, dude. Over to Spain. Johnny Cordosa making the move. Cholo Simeone was wanting this guy. Obviously, it kind of just worked out in place. Rodrigo de Paul went over to Inter Miami. Johnny Cordosa was probably arguably one of the best midfielders in La Liga last season, playing with Real Betis. Dude, this is I don't have the official stats, but this was a big money move from what I saw. Lots of money to it. Johnny Cordosa, obviously, we know the Johnny that we've seen at the club level and what he's done with Betis and what he was able to do at Internacional in Brazil. But this is a different beast. This is an Atletico Madrid move. I like it. I think it's good for him. I think it's great for the U.S. men's national team if he performs, But I would say both sides are looking at this agreement to be a solid one. But now it's just got to be what else can he bring to the field?
I think I'm gonna just say it right now. I think this is the
Yeah,
best transfer in all of Concacaf. I absolutely love this transfer. I love what Atleti has done this entire offseason. They have just made post Club World Cup. They pretty much, I don't want to say gutted it, but they've got rid of some pieces and got a lot of big upgrades. I think Johnny Cardoso is going to be an upgrade over Rodrigo De Paul. I think Rodrigo De Paul this past year kind of dipped in quality. He didn't necessarily look at that same dominating level in the midfield as he did before. And then he's going to be surrounded by absolute ballers up front. I mean, Thiago Amato's going there.
Yeah.
Um, uh,
Julian.
I'm gonna draw. Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna draw a blank on everybody that just moved there, but obviously there's a ton of moves that they just made.
Yeah.
But I love the situation that they built there. I think the system that Simeone wants to put in place, he's going to slot in perfectly. And I'm really curious to see how this Atleti team looks coming into this new season. I think there's a real argument to be made that they could like push for the La Liga title and potentially even Champions League. Obviously, we have to see how all these pieces play out together, but he's definitely one of the cogs in the entire wheel that hopefully is going to make this Athletic team really click and get rolling.
Yeah. Yeah. To completely agree, dude. Final U.S. men's national team transfer. We'll go ahead and wrap it up with the U.S. dude. Malik Tillman, big money move as well. As talking about money moves, dude, making the move over to Bayern Leverkusen. Listen, dude, I think this was kind of a little bit of a match made in destiny for him. Obviously, his former head coach when he was over in the Netherlands. Oh my God, I'm drawing a blank, dude. You got to help me. Uh, the Dutch guy, the bald guy, former Man U coach. You know who I'm talking about.
Oh, Ten Hag?
Ten Hag. Yes,
Ten
yes.
Hag? Yeah.
Ten Hag, Ten
Ten Hog.
Hagen, Ten
Ten Hog.
Bog.
Yeah.
Ten
Move on.
Hag, dude, good little connection, good little reunion for him, dude. I think it's good for Malik. You could obviously tell after this summer he really did ball out. You know, listen, obviously, respectfully against a little bit lower oppositions, mid-table teams within Concacaf, but still, I think he played well. I think he did his part, and not only that, and that's speaking national team wise, club wise, this guy was phenomenal, dude. I think he really was. Leverkusen's going to have a tough season. Um, Obviously with Xavi gone, Florian Wirtz gone, you know, other names going, you know, Piero Incapié is being
Pong.
leaked. Yeah, Frimpong. I mean, there's, you know, this is going to be a different team. This will not be never losing as it always has been. So that aspect's going to be different. I just want to see kind of similar to Johnny. How does he deal with the pressure? This is not, you know, he's not going to Hamburg or Freiburg, you know, or Werder Bremen. You know, this is some top teams. You know, he's going to be playing Champions League and they're going to be expected to win a lot of their games. So I think that's going to be interesting to see how he deals with it. But I like Malik, dude. He's a good character on and off the field. So
I like it. I think it's a great move for him. I'm not entirely sure how well, if it's going to be like how well he's going to perform. Obviously, I think recently we've seen a lot of big moves from the Netherlands go to top five leagues and struggle. I mean, the Netherlands over the past years has shown to be a more attacking league where attackers tend to really show out. So I'm curious to see how well he makes this transition over to Leverkusen. Overall, though, a great move. He's going to a top team in Bundesliga. Um, just curious to see how well he performs. Obviously, there's going to be immense more pressure that's going to be put on him. You're talking about a more rowdier fan base, a fan base that expects more now. That's what's happened over the past 2 years. And, you know, let's say made a splash in the coaching market. I mean, for Leverkusen to get a Ten Hag, even though obviously his Man U's career didn't like go the best, he is still at one of the more top level coaches that you could have gotten free agency. So we'll see. I think it's a great move for them. I think it's a great stepping stone, finding the next spot, and then from there he can move on. If he's able to perform there, he's able to go on into bigger teams and whatnot. But overall, for him though, this is a great move. Hopefully, he can live up and take advantage of the opportunity because this is a big opportunity, and they're going to expect a lot from him, which is probably what he needs going into a World Cup year, especially
yeah,
since this U.S. team needs a real leader. So yeah,
agree with that last part, dude. And we'll go down south of the border, dude. We'll go down a little bit, go to Mexico, the current kings of CONCACAF. I hate to say it, but it is the truth for him. Listen, not a lot of movement here, not a lot of activity. The one I kind of want to pick
no,
your brain a
not at
little bit,
all.
Julian, is Marcel Ruiz being linked from Toluca. Had a good Gold Cup, played well, did solid. Getting linked with Ipswich Town championship team, respectfully, obviously second division, but the championship is by far the best second division in the world. It's unquestionable. Top 15 league of the world. Very physical, very competitive. Long season, dude. Lots of teams. Uh, Ended up not doing it. Toluca wanted more money. kind of what we've seen happen. A lot of Liga MX teams have been doing this in the past years, kind of similar to what we've seen in a lot of cases, not selling their players for the amount that's genuinely, I personally believe that should be sold for, wanting a double amount, wanting higher, whether it is. But currently, Marcel is also being linked to Palmeiras in the Serie A of Brazil, which, dude, we've already talked about this. We talked a lot about it in our Club World Cup reactions and whatnot. Serie A, dude, this is serious, man. This is a good league. This is a very, very competitive league. It's one of the top leagues in the world in Brazil. So I think obviously that's not a lateral move. That's an upward move if Marcel makes that move to Brazil from Toluca. But like I said, nothing confirmed yet. We'll have to see. Julian, your thoughts?
Yeah, I think the Palmeiras move is immensely better than going to Ipswich. To be honest with you, I don't necessarily think championship is always the best place to go. Sometimes I feel like a lot of players get stuck there. Yeah, you have the potential to go play in the Premier League, but then once you go into the Premier League, you're so outmatched, it's hard to really even get scouted a lot of the times unless you really play out of your mind. I think going to a Palmeiras team, a team that's a well-oiled machine that has a great coach in Abel Ferreira, and is going to be pushing for Copa Libertadores championships, pushing for uh, the Serie A titles. I like this move for him, and Palmeiras is a team that's proven to sell and sell teams to bigger places. And I think the launch pad from Palmeiras is going to be a much bigger launch pad than he would get from Ipswich Town. So I think this is a really good move. I know some people from this side of the world always feel weird about players staying on this side of the world. I think we've come so obsessed sometimes, and I think going to Brazil, you're going to be playing at, to me, a more competitive league, a more demanding league, with a higher quality team. So you're going to see how he's going to play against higher quality opposition, as well as higher and play with higher quality teammates, and obviously a place who, I mean, they just sold Richard Rios to Benfica. You have the
Yeah.
opportunities endless if he can perform well there. It's a big launch pad to going somewhere bigger in Europe, where maybe he would have got stuck at Ipswich.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Interesting
even if you
take.
get stuck in Brazil, not a bad place to be stuck in.
Yeah. Go get a little capinha. Go to Copacabana, man. Not
Yeah.
that bad. Not that bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, dude, like you said, good move. I agree with a lot what you said. Jamaica. Let's go ahead and move it over there, dude. Let's get into the
All
Caribbean.
right.
Not crazy. Probably the bigger one that sticks out. Damari Gray going back to England. Interesting move. I think obviously he's 28 years old. You know, went to Saudi Arabia for a little bit of a loan spell, or excuse me, not a loan spell, for a little bit in his career. It wasn't the worst. Wasn't the worst. I mean, he played good. Kind of was still consistent. I think Damari Gray is one of those consistent players for Jamaica. Very unfortunately, a lot of his teammates are not like that. You know, so I think he's a solid player. I think he puts 100% effort. I think it's good for him, dude. Listen, Birmingham City, obviously Tom Brady, your boy, dude. You know,
Yeah,
big
my
bucks.
boy. Yeah.
Making the move over there with him. But I think, like, speaking about it, dude, we were talking about the championship for Marcel Ruiz. I think for Damari Gray, this suits him very well. He's already familiar with England, played obviously at Everton. I think he's going to do well. I just think it is obviously a matter of time to see how, I don't think the adaptation part will be hard for him. Just going to kind of see how he can get back to the competition level.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think this is a good move to go back to England, even though it's the second division. He's going to a place where he's going to be able to compete at a high level. Has to play at a high level week in and week out. Obviously, the Saudi Arabia League has a lot of discrepancies when it comes to the league and the top teams to the bottom. I think the championship is a place where you can't overlook anybody. It's just hyper competitive, and having a player that's there, it's really good. Even though I was just talking about it in terms of Brazil, but obviously Brazil and Saudi Arabia are on two different levels. So I think going back to a higher level league is good for him, and he can get back into that intense grind and pressure that you get being in the championship
Yeah,
versus Saudi
completely agree.
Arabia.
Yeah, yeah. Well, let's hop over to your boys, man. Costa Rica, pretty quiet so far. Summer transfer
A
window. I
lot of
know
rumors, nothing's come
a lot,
through though.
a lot of rumors, just not a lot of confirmations. But let's go ahead and roll with confirmations. I got a little bit of a hipster one for you, Julian. I want to go with this guy,
Okay, let's see if I notice this.
Elias Quesada, making the move. Listen, dude, I didn't even know who this guy was. You messaged me a lot about him. You told me about this guy. Like I said, I learned about him through you. My only opinion on it is good for him. I haven't seen him debut yet with Alajuelense, which is interesting. I don't know much about that, Julian. I don't know if you know more on that.
No, I think it's some physical issues, something like to that nature. I don't quite, I'm not quite sure if it's injury or if it's something. I, I don't know. It's been kind of a little weird and up in the air of what's going on there, but it's a move that I'm kind of like, I don't know. We'll kind of see. It's not the worst thing in the world. At the end of the day, this was a guy who was playing at the Arsenal 2 team for pretty much his entire youth. I think he grew up through the entire Arsenal youth system. He is half English, half Costa Rican. Not very often that we have dual nats. He is one of the few, if not the only. And supposedly, from what I heard through the grapevines and the Arsenal people who follow Arsenal too, that he's not a bad player. He played really well. I think the problem was he was getting older and there just wasn't a spot for him, and he wasn't at that level to obviously to play at Arsenal yet. And I know sometimes it's kind of hard for some of those players to get moves to bigger, to like first teams for leagues, other leagues in Europe. So I don't know what kind of. I mean, I would have liked him to stay there, maybe get a loan to like or to the championship, or maybe get sold to like a League One team, or maybe go to I don't know somewhere. You know what I mean? Like, but he ended up coming back to Costa Rica. I don't think it's the worst thing in the world. At the end of the day, this is a guy I think who needs first team minutes, who needs to get used to playing under pressure and a fan base that's going to require something from you. I think regardless, this guy just needed to be on a first team somewhere so he can start getting looks. And if that's going to Costa Rica, a place where he's going to get first team looks, and for a team that has historically sold over the last few years, hey man, I mean, Alajuelense just are potentially about to sell a couple of their players overseas. So if he can play well here, and then with his background in the youth system, I think he could be right back into Europe, no problem, as long as he plays well. He's still young, so
I definitely agree with your take, dude. It's good. It's very, very key and important, dude, especially at their age, 19, 20. Get some first team minutes. We're going to talk about him later in a second, dude. But Gustavito Herrera, obviously the Panamanian who made the move to Saprissa. So, I think at that age, I agree with you, man. It's important to get some big minutes in. But we'll wrap it up with Costa Rica, dude. Francisco Calvo, center back, officially made official this morning. I saw the post about it. Al, you're going to have to help me out. Etifak. I sound like I'm saying a bad
Etihad, I
word, right?
think. I don't
No, no, no.
know.
Al, it's this is the club that Damari Gray was playing at before he made the move over to Birmingham. So Al
There's
Etifak,
a couple
this is a
players that
team.
play there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Couple dudes. I think good move. Listen, dude, I know he's playing in Turkey for a little bit, and at one point he was at Juarez, and Liga MX, and just dude, this guy, he's a world traveler, man. I mean, bro, if you look at his
He leaves
passport,
to a new
dude,
team every year.
I mean, he's got like 30 different countries marked down on his passport. I think great for him, dude. Awesome, and that aspect. Team wise, we'll see if he can get comfortable, dude. I think it's an interesting one. At his age, not a bad move. We'll see how it goes. Julian.
Yeah, I agree. At his age, I mean, Saudi Arabia, I would say he's going to be playing against higher level opposition, which is going to keep him ready and in shape for the World Cup. I think it's better than coming back home to Costa Rica. I like, and the fact that he's going to be playing for not like obviously the top teams like Al Nazir or Al Hilal or the yellow one I can't remember the name of, but he's going to be playing for like an upper middle tier team that has some players on there. So I think it's going to be good competition for him. He played really well in Turkey last year, but he played for like a relegation team. And it seems like he always gets caught playing for like these bad teams, but then he plays kind of well, and then the team wants to rebuild and he leaves. So it's just one of those players. I don't think he necessarily plays bad. He's just getting these 1 year deals a lot. And yeah, I
Well,
like it for him, and I'm sure he's getting a handsome pay raise versus playing for a relegation team in Turkey and going to Saudi Arabia. So good for him,
well,
and I think it's a good enough league to where he can still stay in competitive shape for the World Cup coming up.
yeah. Agreed, dude. Agreed. Let's go down a little bit south, dude. Let's go head down to Panama. Obviously, my boys Canaleros, a big one. This was arguably, I would say, probably the biggest move. It was a $2.5 million move. Ismael Diaz going to Club Leon, joining with James Rodriguez, coming over, leaving finally, dude. Guys, you guys know better on this channel. Julian, you know myself. It was time for him to get going out of Universidad Católica. I think he went on a good note, went well. Obviously, a top goal scorer this summer at the Gold Cup. Great move. I think for him, linking up with Hummus, I like that, dude. listen, Club Leon is kind of going through a little bit of a rough spell right now. Had a really bad League Cup trio game. So it's going to be interesting to see what he does, but I do like he's bumping his level up. I need him to stay competitive. He needs to get goals. That's really on Ismail because this is the team. I mean, obviously, James Rodriguez in the midfield is a team that can provide those goals for him.
Yeah, 100% agree. I mean, for him to get a level up, especially at his age, I think is really good. Obviously, leading into a World Cup year, he is going to what I think a top three league in the Americas. So going from, I believe, correct me on the country, is Ecuador.
You got it. You got it.
Okay. Don't murder me in the comments if you're from Ecuador, but yeah, I think this is definitely a step up. Obviously, it's going to be pretty exciting to see how he plays with James and how that's able to work. I haven't seen a ton of James play for Leon. You've probably seen a little bit more than I have, but yeah, overall, it's a good move. Like I said, level up, especially at his age and a World Cup year, important year. It's good.
Yeah. Yeah, completely agree, dude. Speaking about a big level up, Edward Cedeno, dude, going from Tarazona, third division Spain. This is a young key midfielder, dude. You know a little bit better than I do. He played at Alajuelense during some of his youth days. He played for their U20s, got moved up to the first team. Listen, dude, the Costa Rican media were in love with this guy. They were trying to naturalize him and whatnot. But dude, he has had a very, very good club wise career so far. He's been incredible. I love Cedeno, dude. Shout out. He's a Chiriquí boy, so my home province. But yeah, I think he's awesome, man. I think he plays well. I think he's going to UD Las Palmas in the second division of Spain, competitive league. Obviously, not to that championship tier quite exactly, but it's still physical. It's still a brutal league, week in, week out. Good move for Cedeno. I love to see it, dude. He's another depth piece to add to our midfield with Fulo and Coco and Godoy and all those guys. So yeah, keep it going, dude. I'm excited for him, and he's a young guy, so hopefully can keep getting more big moves ahead.
Yeah, and I like Las Palmas. They're kind of like that like lower level La Liga team. I like
Mm,
the past couple years. One I love the colors. I like that yellow and blue.
yeah,
But yeah, they're a pretty scrappy team and they compete. Obviously, they got relegated down to the second division, but obviously, this is a team who can fight for La Liga positioning and get back up there. So if he can help assist in that way and get back into La Liga levels, I mean, do you guys have another player playing at that high of a league level? It'd probably be your highest level player. So in terms
just
of
him and
like
Murillo.
the league at
Yeah,
what they play at, uh,
yeah.
so yeah, that's a great move,
Yeah, wrapping it up
especially at
with
his age.
Panama, dude. Yeah, young guy, young guy. Wrapping it up though, Julian Edgardo Farinha, my boy, man. Listen, this is my guy. Love him to death, dude. Got a selfie with him. Met him at the airport years ago. Awesome guy, incredible dude. I've been following his journey ever since. Dude, incredible. Just the moves that this guy's been making. I mean, he was playing at the U23 level a couple of years back. He was playing in, if I'm not wrong, Universitario. Made the move to Guatemala. Then he made a move over to Russia after the Copa America last summer. Played in phenomenal there. Got thrown out to the Wolves. Was never supposed to even start or anything. So, but yeah, I think awesome dude move for him. He's staying in Russia. He's going to Nizhny Novgorod. Obviously, Russia's not competing in any European leagues or any Champions League, Europa League, anything of that matter. But still, solid league, good for him. I think he's a strong center back, dude. Like I said, kind of about Cedeno, add to the depth piece. I don't think necessarily Farinha is a starter quite yet. He's still young. He's 23, but I think it's a good move, dude. He's staying there. Obviously, his former club went bankrupt, so that couldn't work out. But yeah,
Yeah, I mean, look, he's able to stay at the level that he was at, so that's always a plus. I mean, instead of going down, I mean, obviously, ideally, you always want to go up and obviously, in this video, we've been talking about players who've been making great moves. We're not really talking about players who have made a decline, but overall, look, man, you're able to stay where you're at. Not too bad.
yeah. Wrapping it up though, dude. Last country, I want to get to it. Honduras. We're gonna stick it, or excuse me, last two countries. Honduras, Guatemala. I got 2-1 from here real quick. Get it, hit it with you. Luis Palma. This has been a name, dude. He's been thrown out everywhere. Kind of like Francisco Calvo, bro. He's passport bros. He's all around the world, dude. He's traveling everywhere. He's just kind of been active. I don't think he's a bad player. I just think he has not found that home yet, and he's still trying to look for it. You can kind of tell he hasn't really found that league. He started hot at Celtic, kind of was okay. Didn't have the best summer for Honduras as well, Luis Palma, but He made the move to Lech Poznan over in Poland. So interesting. I don't know how you feel about that, Julian.
This is the first one where I'm going to say I'm not super high on this move. But, I
Mm.
mean, to be fair, he hasn't really lived up to expectations so far. Like, to me at least, I've seen moments where he's looked good. Like there was the game against Mexico. I don't remember what tournament it was, but where they're playing out Honduras, and he
Mm.
looked great. Like that was to me the last game where I watched him play, and I'm like, damn, this guy is like, he is by far the best player for Honduras. Like he was just playing out of his mind. But then lately he's just kind of looked pedestrian. Like he hasn't really stood out the much. He can't break minutes for Celtic.
Yeah.
Obviously, no one else in the Scottish league were willing to take a chance on him. And going down to Poland, and it's funny because me and Adam were talking about this yesterday, that the Polish league is like a chronic underperforming European league based on their economy and GDP and how big those cities are. And he kind of made me think, I'm like, yeah, this is weird that like the Ukraine league is a stronger league than Poland, yet Poland's a more economic powerhouse than Ukraine. And I was like, yeah, Poland is kind of a underperforming league compared to the rest of Europe and the teams that are outperforming them. I mean, the best team, to put it in perspective, the best team in Poland yesterday lost to Red Star Belgrade 4-1. The best team, the
Mm.
team that won the championship. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't
And that's
know.
his
I
team.
mean, we'll see.
That's his team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I think it's a
Yeah.
little bit of a downgrade, obviously, not being able to crack minutes at Celtic, but hopefully he can perform well there, maybe make a name for himself. Look, if he can get consistent minutes and he's playing well, that's great for Honduras at the end of the day. This guy
Yeah.
has the most talent as it currently stands, so there's that.
Yeah. Speaking about Honduras, we'll take it to the back line real quick. Chino Maldonado, man, making the move, though. Rubin Kazan over to Russia. He was playing over at, I'm not even going to try to pronounce it. He's playing in Romania. We'll stick with that. I can't even say this team's name. But, dude, obviously, this is an upward move for him, upward league. It's a positive move overall. Listen, I will say Chino Maldonado, man, we're big Concacaf guys, dude. He's nice, man. This guy's hard to beat, and it's not only the versatile nature and Maldonado's stature and what he brings to it, but it's his ability to be able to compete with other guys, and just the ultra aggressive attitude that he brings to the field. And we've seen it. I've seen it a little bit at his league level, at his club wise, but national team wise, he's been very, very strong. I have to say, with Honduras, definitely one of their best players, undoubtedly, probably one of their top three standouts. So, Julian, what do you think about that?
Yeah, man, upward move. You can never be mad at it. It's it's great. I think he deserves it. Like you said, I thought he's been looking really well for Honduras lately, and obviously it was enough for him to get a move over to Russia. It seems like Russia, for some reason, is really scouting Concacaf. I don't know if
Mm-hmm.
you've noticed that. I feel like I'd never heard of Concacaf players going to Russia, and now all of a
Yeah,
sudden, a lot. I mean, obviously we have like me and you both have a couple players that play over there, so yeah, like I said, good upward move for him. He's going to go into a very competitive league. We'll see how well he plays against Manfred Ugalde.
yeah.
See if he cooks him. But
We'll
yeah,
see. We'll see. Listen, dude. Last one I want to get to. This is a country that a lot of people writing to me, Julian, tech telling me, "Oh, watch out this summer. They're gonna have moves everywhere, dude." Los Chapines, man, Guatemala. I know you kind of alluded to it earlier. Not, we haven't really talked a lot about negative moves. I'll hit you with one real quick, dude. Nicolas Samayoa going back to Guatemala, playing at that same club, if I'm not incorrect, that Gino Maldonado played at or somewhere, but he played in Romania, going back to Municipal. I mean, dude, listen, I'm not saying this guy was unbeatable. He was insane this summer, but he looked solid. I mean, he looked bare minimum. He could at least play like in the USL, or I mean a lower MLS, something like that. Makes a move back to Municipal. Listen, I don't know if it's finances. I don't know if it's comfortability. I'm not going to judge a player based on that, because obviously that's out of our hands. That's out of the players' hands as well. That's their decision. I respect them for whatever they have to do. At the end of the day, they are humans. But I don't know. Just obviously, you want to talk about a negative move, dude. This is a negative move.
yeah, I agree. Like, obviously, I mean, look, Romania is not a terrible league. I mean, they compete in like conference league qualifications. I mean, Carlos Mota, he plays over there, and I follow a little bit of what happens over there. I think they're like one spot away from qualifying from European football, I want to say. Um, Going back to Guatemala, yeah, man, this is a downgrade, especially considering that he didn't have a bad Gold Cup showing. You would think that, yeah, he would at least get a shout with at least a USL team. I think that's even a little bit like an upper level USL team, or like you said, lower level MLS. But unfortunately, yeah, he maybe it was the only place where he had an offer. No one wanted to renew, and when you're somebody, sadly, depending on your passport, it's hard to get second looks sometimes. You know,
Mm.
it's hard. It's difficult because it's no one else in Europe. If you're not getting consistent minutes for this Romanian team, Romania is not necessarily a league where a lot of people get a ton of looks. So if you're not playing well there and you're Guatemalan and people don't really see you in international play, it's really hard. But you would think, at least from the Concacaf perspective, there'd be somebody that would take a shot on, maybe even a Liga MX team, maybe even a Costa Rican league team. I think that would have not that probably would have been an upgrade in that sense. But yeah, a little disappointing.
Yeah, completely agree, dude. Obviously, that is the only official one. Kimi Ordonez as well, the young American Guatemalan, is going back to the USL Championship.
Real
He's going
Madrid.
to be playing. I, dude, that's what I was hearing. I was hearing this guy was going to go to Barcelona. I was hearing Atletico, Roma. I mean, all these things. But he's going to Loudon Valley. Obviously, that level, I guess, in a sense, from the Swedish second division, or excuse me, not even Sweden. He was playing in Moldova. I guess that's a step up in a way. I mean,
And see those kind of
essentially,
movement. It's hard to tell.
yeah,
I kind of want to say it's a step up, but I'm like I'm not sure.
yeah,
USL is hard to gauge because USL only plays in USL.
yeah,
The only engagement you kind of see is like when they play MLS, which is expected. I mean, they're second division, so it's
yeah,
like you're not going to see them in international play. But yeah,
yeah.
maybe it's a step up.
I don't know.
Maybe.
I just think it's disappointing. Like, just to wrap it up, Julian, because that was our last country we're gonna hit on this one. It, it's kind of like you said, dude. It is disappointing in that sense of like, dang, I'm not personally myself. I'm not surprised. I'm not like looking at this and like, wow, I thought these guys were going to be playing all over the world, and all these big teams.
Dude, I thought
But it
Aaron
is
Herrera was going to get transferred to Newcastle, dude.
that's what I thought, dude. Rubio Rubin was getting linked to Barcelona. I mean, it was all these moves and stuff like that. But listen, and it's not to clown on
Can't trust the
Guatemala or
sources,
anything.
dude.
Yeah,
Can't
yeah, you
trust the
can't trust
sources.
that Tio from Antigua who said that, but it is what it is. But we'll see for them. Obviously, they're like the rest of us, the rest of these teams in Central America. We're focused on a little bit different things now. Goal ahead, obviously, with the World Cup qualifiers. But yeah, that concludes it, man. I don't know if you got anything else.
No, that's pretty much it. I think we knocked a couple of them. I think there were some omissions. The only one I would probably say is Patrick Ajiman going to Derby County.
Yes.
I'll just do a quick little thing on that.
Yeah.
I guess a good move for him. I don't necessarily know how he got that move. I don't know if they're blackmailing like the owner's wife or something. I don't know
Yeah.
how Derby County decided to invest 10 million into Patrick Ajiman, but
Crazy.
I guess good move for him. I mean, it's a. I don't want to say it's. It kind of is a lateral. It's the way
It's an
I view
upward.
MLS and championship.
That's
It's
an upward move.
in level and quality. It's roughly the same. I think in pressure though is where the championship really excels over MLS. There's just immense more pressure in the
Mm.
championship than there is in MLS. But in terms of quality, I think it's usually a good safe bet to kind of go from MLS to championship. But
Yeah.
yeah, that's pretty much it. If you guys enjoyed the episode, we gladly appreciate it. If you made it to the end of this video, please make sure to like and subscribe. And if you're listening on audio platforms, please be sure to check out the YouTube and vice versa if you're watching on YouTube. We'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out, everybody.